Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Calvin, We the Species. Uh, um, this is my Johnny Carson monologue. By the way, I put on a new sweater for you, Sherry. Uh, I just was in the mood to put on a new shiny because I'm talking to a Californian, and that's important. Right off the bat, I got to tell everybody to grab everybody and say that Sherry and I, parenthetically, are in a very, very special, unique club that not too many people are in or even know about it. Uh, the club is Sherry lost 103 pounds, and she did it, and that's why I'm way down on the totem pole here because I did my 100-pound weight loss, in my 40s. Sherry did it when she was 64 a few years ago, and that is so extraordinary because it's life. What Sherry has done, Sherry Diamond, what she has done is life and it's health, and there's so much, and so she's a poster woman for this amazing feat of having lost 103 pounds, and it's opened up a whole new life for her, and she's going to talk. We're going to talk all about that, but it's extraordinary, and it's almost like I want to reach out into the screen and pretend I'm Cher and I'm slapping Nicolas Cage and tell him snap out of it for Moonstruck, because the message that Sherry's going to give you all is extraordinary, and what she can do for you is extraordinary because she's done it. I did it too, and the fact that I did it when I did it, it allowed me to kind of lead my life especially these last bunch of years, as I'm approaching 80, and I'm closer to 80 than I am to 70. And this thing up here really functions full throttle. And why? Because part of it is diet and food and awareness and health. And that's all that Sherry Diamond is. So if you started listening to this opening monologue, don't leave, because it's your life. This is your life. That was an old, remember that, Sherry, that TV show?
I love that show.
Yeah, This Is Your Life. Or
Yeah, I'm old enough to know about that show.
I know there's not too many people I engaged that can know about it. So anyway, I'm done with my Johnny Carson monologue, whom I love dearly, and I want to introduce Sherry Diamond. And it was fortuitous and wonderful, and I thank the universe that we connected. We've been chatting a whole bunch now, and in previous weeks. Just you are extraordinary. So a
Well,
little
so
bit of
are
a
you. I mean, come on. You lost 100 pounds. It's not like, I lost 100 pounds and you didn't. You did too. So what you did is extraordinary. The only difference really is we did it at different times in our life.
right.
However, I will say that anybody listening that's in their 40s, you should be following what Calvin did. And anybody who's listening, I don't care what age you are, you should be listening to both of us because we lived it. We know what we're doing. We are living proof that your health is all you really have.
Where'd you come from?
So where did I come from? Well, I
Yeah, I
was
know
born
you're in
and raised.
California.
Yeah, well, but I've lived in California since 1975, but I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. And ever since I was 14 years old, I knew I was going to move to California. I told my parents when I was 14, I saw a show on TV that was palm trees and the beach like behind me. And I wanted to go there. And I had no idea where it was, but I knew I was going. And my mom was like, you could do anything you want as long as you don't hurt our family, disgrace us, go to jail, or hurt other people. And my dad was like, really? You want to go to a place where there's a beach and palm trees and kids on the sand, but you don't know what it's called? That's ridiculous. And that night, my parents were in their room getting ready to go to bed, and my bedroom is next door to theirs. And I heard my dad say to my mom, can you believe this kid? Who does she think she is? She's going to go to California when she gets older and goes to college and all this stuff. She doesn't even know where she's going. This is ridiculous. And my mom said, if you don't know anything about this kid by now, is that when she says she's going to do something and she makes up her mind, she's going to do it. So only advice I could give you right now is buckle up, because you got about 3 or 4 more years and she's leaving. And on September 12th, 1975, I got on a plane. I went to San Diego and I lived there for 4.5 years. And in 1979, I moved to LA and I never looked back. And here I am.
Wow. So you're really a Californian.
Oh, yeah. I hated living in Cleveland. I always felt like I didn't belong there. I felt like I was living in the Stepford Wives.
Was it the climate too that influenced you?
Well, I hated the snow. I hated shoveling snow. I hated everything about the cold. Um, I didn't think it was normal that you go out and it's snowing and it's cold and you have to come home and put your clothes and hang them up in front of a heater to dry because they're wet. Like all of that didn't make sense in my normal brain. So I didn't like the weather for sure. But I also, at the time I lived in Cleveland, Cleveland was not a progressive city like it is now, where there's so many good things. It's such a great place to raise kids and have a family and all that. And when I lived there, it was doing what everybody else does, shopping at the same stores, eating at the same restaurant, wearing the same clothes. And I always felt out of place because I had my own individual everything and I never followed the crowd. But I followed the crowd because I thought I had to, but I didn't like it. So I wanted to go somewhere. And as soon as I saw those kids on TV, it's like I heard the angels singing and I was like, I'm going there. And here I am.
So you're out in California, you're doing whatever you're living your life out there, and your lifestyle, you're gaining weight.
Oh yeah, but I was a chubby kid.
Okay.
I yo-yo dieted my whole life. And I think I've told you before, Calvin, that if I put all the money on the table that I spent on crazy diets, going to all kinds of diet places, buying packaged food, buying pills, buying protein shakes, buying everything known to man, and I put the money on the table, I could take you, your wife, and myself on a trip around the world 2 times.
So you're conscious of all that, but you're not adhering to. By the way, I have to say right up front, share SHER thegift.com. That's your website.
Yes.
And I've been hanging out there. I'm a lurker, by the way.
Good.
I'm a lurker.
Yeah, because we have to share our gifts that we have to other
Yeah.
people. And I have to share the gift of health to people, because being in ill health is not a death sentence and it's a choice. We don't have to be sick. We do not have to.
We
Right.
don't.
And you can eat healthy and you can go out with your friends and you can go on vacation and you can have a cocktail. You can do all those things on my program. You just have to be mindful.
We're going to talk about that a whole bunch. Again, I'm Ralph Edwards. So Sherry, you're 64 years old, 4 or 5 years ago, and you go to a doctor, and you're pre-diabetic for sure.
For sure.
And he laid that on you, and it was this great slap in the face. And then talk about the energy, talk about the universe. How did this whole, I mean, it's not easy.
No, it's not. So I'll tell you, just to go back one step, is that in 2006, my mom passed away. She died of pancreatic cancer. And in 1991, my dad passed away and he died of stomach cancer. So everybody in my immediate family, of my mom and my dad's side of the family, my dad's side of the family, they all died of stomach cancer. And one of my favorite uncles, he died of brain cancer. And on my dad's side, his mother, father, and one of his sisters died of stomach cancer along with my dad. And my other 2 aunts died of dementia. And the other one, honestly, it's unbelievable. She had the highest cholesterol of anybody in my life. And she lived to be, I think, almost 90. Wow. And she died really of old age. Okay. So that's I have horrible DNA, any way you slice it. So here I am, yo-yo dieting my whole life, losing weight, gaining weight. And I knew how to lose the weight. I just didn't know how to keep it off. So I go to the doctor and she tells me, you're pre-diabetic. I was like, what? What do you mean I'm pre-diabetic? She said, yeah, your numbers are knocking on the diabetic door. So what I'm going to say to you is, I am going to recommend that you try to eat a little better and lose some weight, because if you don't, within a year, you will for sure be on some kind of medication for diabetes or insulin. But the medication might come first, but eventually you'll go into the insulin. And I said to her, that's not going to happen because I'm terrified of needles. You know, I'm the one that when you go and they say we're going to do a blood test, I hold out my arm, I turn my head, and I tell the phlebotomist, don't show me any blood, needles, nothing, right? Just do it and let me out of here. Okay. So I went home and I was terrified. So I started researching food. Why do we get diabetes? Why do we get high blood pressure? Why? And the same word kept coming up, inflammation. And what I learned, without going into all of that detail, is that once you have inflammation, right? So here's me, I have inflammation on and off for 64 years. Now I go to the doctor, and at 64, there's been so much inflammation in my system. Really, where is it supposed to go? There's nowhere else for it to go except to keep swimming through my body to wreak havoc on my health. And it all made sense. And then I thought about my mom. When my mom was about to die in 2006, the last conversation we had, she said to me, I want you to promise me one thing, that someday you're going to get thin. And that's all my mom wanted out of my life, was to be thin. So I said, you know what, Mommy, I don't know what day that's going to happen, but I'm going to promise you I will. So I said, okay, here's a way to say yes to my mom and to my health all at the same time. So I started researching foods that cause inflammation, et cetera, et cetera. And I started eating like that. And in 18 months, I lost 103 pounds. But the best part was not about how I looked, but I could feel my body purging the inflammation. And I know that sounds crazy. And what you said earlier in the broadcast is that mentally up here, how you feel, I'm going to tell you, as soon as you clean your body by osmosis, you clean out your brain and you think clearer. And I went back and I thought about all the people that I have met in my life that were just grossly overweight, like 300, 400, 500 pounds, that were always aggressive and mean. They're constantly eating bad food. That means something. I mean, honestly, it sounds crazy, but it's true. Now, not only do I feel amazing, but I found the secret to never gaining weight. I haven't gained a pound. I never will ever again. And I'm standing in the best legs of my life. I'm going to be this year, I'm going to be 69 years old. And I have more energy than some 10-year-olds I know.
Same here. Same here.
And so that's how I got there. And so the other thing that you said that was really interesting, Calvin, you said about the universe. So I said, okay, I think I'm going to start writing this as a program, because everybody would say to me, you look amazing. You look so good. You look so good. But, you know, nobody ever asked me, how do you feel? Because it's always about how you look. And really what I'm trying to teach people while you're eating better and getting healthy, how to live your life from the inside out, not the outside in, because that's what we've been all doing our whole life. And then we get to be 40 or whatever, and we're stressed out. And now we have high blood pressure and all these things because we've been chasing all the stuff, but we haven't been chasing the inside of us. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I started to write Balance for Life, and I came up with this program and I threw it out into the universe. And here we are 2 years later. I'm still doing it, and it's getting better all the time. I'm doing a podcast every Saturday called B2D2. I'm writing a children's book, and I'm in the process of writing a Balance for Life cookbook. And ever since I lost the weight, I swear to you, I know my mom put the stamp of approval that I fulfilled my promise. And I feel like the world has opened up and there isn't anything I can't do, and I'm unstoppable.
And you are.
I am.
And what I've noticed is this energy that the universe gives us, and the more that you achieve, and the more now you're writing cookbooks and you've got your podcast. The more you absorb, the more you give, the more you get. That's my
Right. Well, you and I have talked about it. That's why sharethegift.com is so important to me, because we can't get anywhere in our life if we don't share our gifts and help other people get where they want, even if there's nothing in it for us. Nothing. And that's a word that people don't understand, is unconditional. And that's the other thing. How I feel about words. Words are powerful. And that was part of my problem, why I stayed fat for so long, because of the words that I heard in my life, the words people said to me, how I internalized it. And then once I start really looking around, when I was writing Balance for Life, I said, oh my gosh, I never realized that my whole life, I've been living inside out. But I was so busy listening to all the nonsense around me that I pushed it kind of to the side. And now it's 100% inside out, and all the outside in means nothing to me. Nothing.
So interesting. It's such a powerful, we talked about this, we've been talking about it. How do we get to people? And I'm listening to you. So you did all this. You should be a poster person for AARP, because there's millions of seniors out there who.
Well, I hope they're listening, because I'm ready.
Yeah, and 20s, 30s, 40s, but just to again, I'm thinking of this as I'm sitting here listening to you. What you did is extraordinary accomplishment in your 60s, to lose 100 pounds. And there are legions and millions of seniors who need to do that. Notwithstanding 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s.
Well, yeah, because when you're in your 20s and 30s, all you're doing is preparing yourself for the ill health that you're going to have when you get older, if you don't learn how to manage it now. And people say, well, everything's in moderation. But what happens when the moderation was no longer moderation, right? How do we stop that from happening? Well, one of the ways is we have to, there's that saying, being healthy is not just about losing weight and being on a diet. It's about the people you surround yourself with. It's the kind of environment you put yourself in. What do you read? What do you listen to? Who do you take advice from? And that's really the key. And that's why living inside out is so profound, because most people aren't doing it. Because, if I told somebody it's interested in my program, which, by the way, I give a 15-minute free consultation. You don't have to do anything but just talk to me. And I tell them what I can do for them. And somebody says to me, I know, but my aunt, she's been on this program and she did all the, okay, and what about, how long did your aunt keep your weight off? Well, she's gained a few pounds, but okay, well, I haven't gained any in almost 5 years.
Wow.
So who are you going to listen to? The aunt. You know why? Because she knows her. And the only reason she won't listen to me is two things. And this is the reason why we do everything in our life. And this is why living inside out is crucial. There's only two reasons why we do something or don't: fear and ego. And for me, it was constant fear. I never had a big ego, and I still don't, because that's a bunch of nonsense. But fear, I was riddled in fear. Fear of what people were going to think. Fear of what my mom would say, don't do that. Don't do this. If I catch you doing that, all this stuff. And then you get to be a certain age, and that's all you keep listening to is the noise. But when you live your life inside out and you're confident about who you are and what you're doing and how you're thinking, there's no stopping you. And now I'm like, I could just like brush it right off. People say stuff to me, I look at them and I go, okay, that's my answer. Okay. Because I'm not going to try and convince anybody of anything. You have to want it. Because if you want it, I'm going to show you how to be successful. And I'm confident about that because in 2 years I've had my program, nobody's asked for their money back.
Wow. I watched some of the, I did my due diligence as a good journalist. So I watched some of the testimonials, even Rod. You
Yeah, he
know,
didn't need to lose any weight.
no, it wasn't about weight loss.
He was miserable.
Yeah.
Even if you don't sleep good, maybe you don't sleep good at night. You wake up in the middle of the night, your bones ache different. You don't have any energy, or you feel like you're always in a bad mood. That all has to do with what's going on internally inside.
You said a magic word, sleep. I've taken seminars on sleep, and I met him the same way I met you. He's a biologist going for a PhD, and one of the things he researches is sleep and aging. And we don't even have a clue how important sleep is. So backtracking to your balance for life, if you can fix a lot of things that you fix, one of the side effects, it's a bad term, but side effects is you're gonna have better sleep.
Yeah, I didn't sleep good. I used to wake up in the middle of the night. There was a time where I could sleep if a train went through my bedroom. And then when I was really overweight, at the time I was pre-diabetic, I weighed 233 pounds. And I used to wake up in the middle of the night and then I couldn't go back to sleep. Or I'd go to sleep and I'd wake up and I go, oh, it must be morning. And I slept 2 hours. And it was horrible. Now, I don't even have to set a clock. If I go to bed at 11, I go to bed every night somewhere between 11 and 12. And I wake up every day between 7 and 8. Rested. I mean, I'm like spring out of the bed. Let's go. Another day. I'm ready. Well, before, I was actually in a food coma.
Wow.
And I would wake up and I was very sluggish and I couldn't get out of bed. And I always felt like I had a hangover, even if I wasn't drinking. And it was horrible. It was horrible. And now my skin is better. I used to have bumps under my skin. My skin is better. I use cleaner products. I mean, everything we put inside of us is so important. Everything, even up here in our brain.
Can you talk a little bit more, more of a picture of balance for life, what it is and what it can do for people?
Sure. So there's 4 ways actually that you can be on my program if you want to eat cleaner, feel better, or lose weight. But I want people to understand that this is not a weight loss journey. This isn't designed for people to lose weight. This is designed for people to feel better and get healthier from the inside out, no matter your age or your ailments. Really, that's it. So what I do is 4 things. You can get in touch with me from my website, or at the end I can give my email. Send me an email. If you send me $10, you can buy my clean eating food list and go with God and eat what's on my list and feel better. The other thing you can do is you can buy the clean food list and you can have me coach you like one-on-one whenever you feel you need it. And I charge for a session. What most people do when they sign up is they sign up for my 6-week program or my 12-week program. And what happens is I don't do anything with videos. I don't send any messages that are canned. Everything is just like we are right now. I look at you, you look at me, and we have a conversation because we can't do this by ourselves. Nobody that got to be grossly overweight, you didn't get there alone, because we got there by eating with other people or ourselves or in front of the TV or being stressed out, whatever it is, or hiding food in your car like I did when I was young. So we didn't get there alone. So how do we expect to get rid of it alone? We can't. So I feel like if I don't talk to you and look at you, it's not as impactful because I know what you're doing wrong and I'm going to help you. So every week we pick a time that's good for the client and we have a one-on-one session for 6 weeks or 12 weeks. And most people are very, very successful. And I do want to say that one of the things I'm most proud of anything I've done on this program is that my doctor who diagnosed me as pre-diabetic, she went on my program because she didn't need to lose any weight. She
Wow.
said, Sherry, look, she goes, I need this program. I was like, but you're a doctor. She goes, I know, but I have a fat belly. I'm stressed out. I have all this belly fat. I have a little 5-year-old boy that I can't run around and play with because I have no energy. And I feel miserable every day when I wake up.
Wow.
So when she said, okay, I'm going to do it, that was my stamp of approval right there.
That's like climbing to the mountaintop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a different ways you can go on the program. And the reason I don't talk about money is because money isn't why I do this. It's not about the money. It's about sharing what I know to help people get healthy. Because when you're only interested in money, nothing comes your way. But when you forget about the money, everything good happens. And that's where I'm at right now. And I just can't even wait to see what's going to happen in the future, because it's going to be really, you think it's extraordinary now, you just wait.
It is extraordinary. You're extraordinary, truly extraordinary in what you've done. In my travels, and not because you're sitting.
No, I know.
Here, and I mean, I've done it. I know what it took. But you
I
did it.
say it all the time. It's not easy, but it's worth it.
It is, and you did it in your 60s, and so. Just going off topic a quick second, I have one of my favorite questions to ask, and it's a one-word thing, and actually you can answer it or you don't have to answer it, but it's a cute question, and then we'll go back. So here's the situation: excluding family or friends, somebody living or dead you'd like to spend a day with. It could be more than one, or whatever.
That I want to spend the day with?
Yeah, it's a nice
There's
question.
actually 3.
Let's do it.
So I have this secret club of people that I want to meet someday. It's called EOE. And it stands for Elton,
Wow.
as in Elton John, Oprah, as in Oprah Winfrey, and Ellen, as in Ellen DeGeneres. And I'll tell you why. Because in 1971, I went to my first Elton John concert, and I heard him play Your Song, and that was it. And as you know, he is my idol of music, and I've seen him 39 times in concert. So he's for sure. I came this close about 10 years ago. I almost got to interview him in Las Vegas when he was doing his Red Piano tour, or 20 years ago. Yeah. So he's the first one. And Oprah, she's the second one that came into my life, and then Ellen. And the reason they are the 3 is because they are the people that when I was at my worst, when I didn't know what I was going to do about certain situations, they said things that penetrated in my brain that I said, I'm never giving up and I'm going to keep going. And now I'm teaching other people how to do that as well.
It's great.
So EOE, if you're listening, I want to meet all of you, preferably all under the same roof.
That's great. It's funny. Oprah's been a hero of mine for a long time, and not that many years ago, 6, 7 years ago, a friend of mine called. Her son is the producer of Dr. Oz.
Oh.
And so she called me and said, "What are you doing tomorrow, Calvin?" And I hate that because it usually means I got to pick somebody up at the airport. So I'm always ready with an excuse. And I said, "What did you have in mind?" She says, "Well, my son produces Dr. Oz, and Oprah's coming in tomorrow because she was the producer and she acted in that play, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks."
Right.
And so she was coming in with the writer of the book, and they were going to talk about that. And so my friend said, we can go, and we would have VIP things that were sitting right like next to Oprah, everybody. So I immediately said, yeah, I'm down. I'm
Yeah, I
down.
got nothing on my calendar.
I'm down, and I picked him up. We drove into the city, we parked, and literally, we really did have VIP. And I knew we were gonna be sitting a
That's
feet
so
away.
cool.
So I wore, by design, the craziest socks I had for a reason. So
So she would notice,
yes, exactly.
right?
And they wouldn't let me wear my Rutgers hat. No, you can't do anything with brands. But
Right.
I sat literally a few feet away from her, and I crossed my legs, and I was shaking my legs. And when they went to commercial, she just looked and saw my socks and started laughing. She went like that, and that's
That's all
exactly
you
what,
needed.
that's all I wanted. And the
That
hope
was the
was,
air. That was the air to push you to the next
yep.
thing, right? That's all we need.
And I had hoped, because I was mentoring a couple of amazing young students who Oprah would have loved. They started a company. Uh, they're like family to me, and they're young kids recently graduated college. But they started a company to help kids get educated and raise money for scholarships. Brilliant.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
Pedal, PDUL, and it was right up Oprah's alley. So my hope was she would come over to me, and I would engage her in conversation, and just tell her about these kids, because it was perfect for her. But unfortunately, halfway through the show, she just got up and left, and anyway,
But you
so
had a moment.
I had a moment, and because I'm a little bit unorthodox, I took a picture of my socks, Sherry, and I mailed it to Oprah in California. Do you remember these socks? Of course,
Oh,
nothing happened. So be it. Anyway, back to work. Um, so
that's funny.
we didn't talk about this in any of our conversations, but I wanted to ask you this because you're the expert, not me. But I want to know what you think about intermittent fasting. Is that part of something
Oh,
you would think
I'm
about?
a big fan and
Okay.
I do it every day.
Okay.
I didn't in the beginning because I didn't understand it. And it sounded scary because all I was focused on was how many hours I wasn't going to eat. And I didn't do it. So it was really until I was into Balance for Life, maybe 6 or 7 months, I thought, I should try it. So I did, but I've changed it. And this is what I'll tell you what I did. In the beginning, I used to eat around, because I get up between like 7 and 8 every day. But at that time, I was getting up earlier because I was just about to get laid off my job, which I didn't know, and be on my own, right? And I used to get up really early, like 6:30. So I used to eat around 7 or 8. So I would eat between like 8 and 4. And then I didn't eat again till the next day. And I would wake up and I'd be really like literally starving. But I don't like to eat when I first get up. I've been like that my whole life. I need some time to have a coffee and sit and meditate and watch a little news and that kind of thing. And then I noticed that as I got more into Balance for Life and I started to become busier and get more clients where my schedule was really packed full of people and things to do, I started eating later. So fast forward, here we are today, 4 years later. Now I eat somewhere between, I get up the same time between 7 and 8, but I don't eat until about 10 or 11. Some days I don't eat till noon. And then I eat until I try to eat within a 5 or 6 hour window. But when I'm going to go out at night, I for sure don't eat till later in the day so that I can still eat at 6 or 7 at night. So I eat around somewhere between 10 and noon. And then I'll eat again, during the day, whatever. And as soon as I'm done, that's it. And I don't eat till the next day. And I'm going to tell you what happens. Not only do you feel better, my body feels lighter. And the other thing I notice is that when you are on the same schedule without really being on a schedule, everything works a lot better. So intermittent fasting, and the other thing intermittent fasting has really helped me with I was addicted to sugar. Like there wasn't anything with sugar in it I wouldn't eat. And there were times where, I hate to admit it, but I would sit down with a pint of ice cream from Ben and Jerry's and eat the whole thing with in front of the TV in one sitting,
Oh,
right? It was a pleasure. I loved it. So the craving for sugar goes away. Not just from the intermittent fasting, but from eating the correct foods that don't cause inflammation. All the things that I used to love to eat, I could walk into a restaurant, a bar, a bakery, anywhere, and just look and go, oh yeah, that's nice. Because I'm not jonesing over it anymore. Like, oh my God, I got to eat that chocolate. I got to have that cupcake. Yes, let me taste that spaghetti, whatever it is. I don't have that anymore. It's completely gone away. And that's why I'll never gain weight anymore. I mean, once in a while, I'll gain 1 or 2 pounds, or I'll lose 1 or 2 pounds, but that's it. It's not, oh, gain 4 pounds. And then the next thing you know, you're gaining 16 pounds. Yeah, that's never going to happen again. It's like, because now it's part of my DNA. It's in my thread of who I am. So it'll never happen. And now I understand for the first time in my life, Calvin, why thin people freak out when they gain a pound or 2 and their pants get tight. Now I understand it.
It's a great, not like it's an obsession, but it's a great consciousness.
Consciousness.
Again, I don't have the background that you have and put together, but as most earthbound people during the pandemic gained, I'd gained 28 pounds.
Yeah, everybody, it's like the freshman 20. This
Yeah.
was the pandemic 25.
So I gained 28 pounds a year and a half ago, and I got really, really upset with myself. And again, I didn't read, I didn't go into depth. I didn't have a Balance for Life program or anything like that. But enough intelligence up here said, you know what, you got to change you got to do this. So I created my own intermittent fasting. So I would wake up and at 10 or 10:30, 11 o'clock, I have half a yogurt because I just wanted to coat my stomach before I took my vitamins and stuff, and a cup of coffee, and that would be it until like 2 or 3. I'd have half a slice of cheese just to have something,
Right.
and then dinner, and maybe a little snack, but everything gets shut down at 11. And I lost 30 pounds from that. So
Good for you. Yeah, and I didn't gain an ounce during the pandemic. And I didn't go anywhere or do anything for almost 7 months. I never left the house except to go hiking or go for a walk.
Same here. Same here.
And that's the other thing that people think you have to go to the gym and you have to work out and I got to get a trainer and I got to go buy all this equipment. No, you don't. All you got to do is put on your tennis shoes and go for a walk. If you have a treadmill, get on it and take the hangers with your clothes off of it. And if you live in a building with a gym, go do it. Just walk and steps and movement. That's all you have to do. Should you go to the gym? Absolutely. Go to the gym if you want to. But don't go to the gym and not do cardio. Because if you don't do any cardio, all the gym is going to do is build muscle.
Right.
And you aren't going to lose any fat and you aren't going to feel any better because we got to work up our heart so we could burn fat. It's so easy. I mean, it's so simple.
Yeah.
And that's why I made my program so simple. I tell people all the time, if you have a child in your house that knows how to read, they can follow this program. I made it so simple that anyone who can read and understand English can be on this program. Anybody. The only thing is you just have to want to.
Correct.
And like with everything else in life, we all want it, but what are you willing to do to get there?
Brilliant.
And I was willing to pull out all the stops to not be diabetic, to not have to shoot insulin, to not have to take any medication. I just refuse.
Brilliant. And as I told you, I put myself on, I do this to I love sugar and I love sweets and love chocolate and stuff.
I eat chocolate every day.
Yeah. Dark chocolate's really healthy. It's healthy stuff. And I have pure cacao powder and I put it into my coffee because
Right.
it's just loaded. It's loaded.
Antioxidants.
Yeah, it's just loaded with good stuff. You might, yeah, I spend a couple hours a day reading a million different things from WebMD and all these health things,
Mhm.
so that I'm kind of make sure I'm doing the right thing. And I told you I take 60 supplements a day.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned sugar. We're always talking about sugar because it's like the worst thing ever. But I have a Facebook group. It's called Balance, the number 4 life. And it's balance space, the number 4 space and life. And today, if you go on the group, you'll see I found a recipe that I deconstructed and put in all the Balance for Life foods that are in it. And I put up a recipe for healthy donut holes.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow.
So that's the other thing I do on my program. If some of my clients don't like to cook, they don't know what they should eat, and they'll say to me, look, I'm having company and I need to make sure I stay on the program. What should I do? I send recipes too, and I don't make people pay for them. It's all part of the program. But on my Balance for Life group, I do put up different recipes that I do try and make, because I love cooking. I love to cook. So when I find something that sounds good, I'm like, wait, why does it have to be bad for us? So I go in the kitchen and I experiment. Well,
Wow.
these donut holes I've been experimenting with for like a month and a half. And I finally made them early this morning, and I had one and I was like, okay, this is delicious. So I put it up on the website.
Wow. In one of my bad days, and before I lost my 100 pounds, when I was still a bad boy,
Mhm.
I tell the story just to give you an example, the depths to which I had sunk to have gained 100 pounds.
Oh, I can see the story without you even telling me, but I want to hear it.
Yeah, so I was working in Princeton as a pharmacist. And we were living in Brooklyn, so the commute was 2+ hours. It was a horrible commute, and that's just where it was. Maybe more. It was a horrible commute. So I was commuting 4.5 hours a day, and it was a Saturday, and my wife called and said, "Your sisters and husbands, everybody's coming over, so stop off and pick up donuts." I said, "All right." So in Princeton, it was a little Dunkin' Donuts, and I don't do well with numbers, so I said, "What do you want?" I said, "Well, give me 3 dozen sorted donuts."
Oh my God. How
It
many people
isn't
were coming?
4, and then us would make 6. So it's a true story. So I ordered 3 dozen donuts, and I left Princeton, and it was Murphy's Law, Sherry, with everything that can go wrong with traffic, accidents and broken red lights. I mean, everything. So the minute I got stuck wherever I was stuck near Princeton, I opened up a box. Anyway, to make a long story short, true story, by the time I reached Brooklyn 3 hours later, I had wafted down 2.5 dozen donuts.
No, I
Oh,
thought you were
yeah.
going to tell me you ate a dozen.
No. 2.5.
How did you stay awake from the sugar? Weren't you falling asleep?
I don't even remember.
Oh, I would have crashed and burned right away.
So I have a lot of these stories. You can read about it. They're
Wow.
funny. They're funny stories. They're not funny. They're sad. They're sad stories of food. It's like shooting up stuff in your arm.
It's horrible.
Horrible. So I ate 2.5 dozen donuts, and of course I never told anybody.
So what happened when you got home?
Well, I said I ate 6, and we had 6 for company, and then it kind of worked out. And I have,
Wow.
and that was this
See,
summer.
and that's the other thing we do when we're overweight and we don't like ourselves. We lie.
Oh, all over the place.
I used to lie when I was like 25, 26, 27. I used to hide food in my car. I go to a party and I just got done eating a Musketeers bar, a Butterfingers, and God knows what else. And then I wouldn't eat at the party. Everybody would say, I don't understand. I never see you eat. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, these people must go, if you're never hungry and I don't see you eat, why are you so damn fat?
Yeah, we do lie. We do.
Because it's easier,
It is easier to lie.
but not now.
No, no, gosh, no. So we did good. I think, is there anything else you wanted just to, I mean, Balance for Life? I'm gonna have all the information for people to see.
Yeah, no, I just want people to know that whatever it is that you want to fix in your life, because see, it isn't all just about food. Living your life from the inside out means a lot. It's not just the food you eat. So if there's anything in your life you need to change, I have a formula that I go through when you do a consultation with me, that I show people why, if you really want something bad enough, you can do it. You just have to want to. And once you want to, I'm the person that'll help you get there, I promise you. So go to sharethegift.com, it's SHER, and check out all of my links for Balance for Life, for my podcast, and just send me an email and I'll get in touch with you. It's that simple. It costs you nothing. It's not about money. It's about you.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So we're gonna wind this down. I cannot thank the universe enough for introducing us.
Thank you.
There's a grand
You're such a
design.
pleasure. And I consider you are my friend.
Ditto. Ditto. We're friends, and
We're friends.
we'll alert the media. It's a line I got from the movie.
Well, they better be alerted because we may take them by storm and they don't know it yet.
We're going to alert the media, and you'll come back. We're going to collaborate and do stuff. It's a powerful message, mostly on your end. What you accomplished is historic. Really.
It was such a pleasure. You're such a pleasure to be with and have
Thank
on
you.
and talk with, because you're so fun and you're so positive. And that's the thing. We have to find more people like us.
Because you know what, Sherry, we live the positivity.
Yeah, if we don't start shedding light in this world, we need more light.
We need
And
a lot of light.
there's so many people sitting in the dark. So
Yeah.
if you're listening right now and you are sitting in the dark, you need to get in touch with one of us or both of us, because we
Mostly
will
you.
show you the light.
Yes, mostly you. So you're going to come back, and we're going to redo things, and
Sounds good.
and I can't thank you enough.